On July 18, the third plenum of the 20th convocation of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China ended. The communique following its results speaks of the need to modernize China in order to become independent from Western technologies. Between convocations, the CPC holds 7 plenums. Traditionally, the third of them is devoted to economic issues. But as experts note, everything changed with Xi Jinping becoming a president. After he began to lead the Communist Party, such events began to serve only to strengthen his power and promote his policies.
In the face of the complex and confusing international and domestic situation, the new round of scientific and technological revolution and industrial transformation, and the new expectations of the masses, we need to consciously give more prominence to reform and continue to comprehensively deepen it in close connection with advancing China's modernization. From the text of the communique of the third plenary session of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China, on the Xinhua News Agency website.
Beijing is getting closer and closer to Moscow. In early July, Xi Jinping met with Putin at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit, where the Kremlin had said that the relations between the countries were going through their best times. Also, on the first day of the opening of the NATO summit in Washington, July 9th, Beijing held joint military exercises with Moscow in the south of China. In addition, the alliance recognized China as a decisive factor that contributes to Russia's war against Ukraine. Experts say that by pursuing self-sufficiency in technology and rapprochement with Moscow, China is building up its forces for a future confrontation with the West.
China is doing everything to create systems that would allow it to avoid any pressure. We see what is happening at the level of the SCO, BRICS, because the SCO is the formation of a resource military alliance, and it now has Belarus at its border. That is, China is already on the border with Ukraine. China is already on the border with NATO. And the fact that NATO historically recognized China in its declaration as a key factor in the Russian war against Ukraine is an absolutely fundamental shift in the security system in Europe and the world as a whole.
Another aspect of the tense relationship between the West and China is Taiwan. On July 11th, Taiwan's Ministry of Defense announced China's growing military presence around the island. And the head of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, said that preventing the seizure of the island would be one of the directions of EU foreign policy in the coming years.
The Indo-Pacific has become a decisive region for the world's future. Building on our existing strategy, we will deepen our engagement with our partners in the region. This includes our collective efforts to deploy the full range of our combined statecraft to deter China from unilaterally changing the status quo by military means, particularly over Taiwan. Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission.
On March 20th, in an interview with Bloomberg, the head of the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command, John Aquilino, announced a record buildup of China's military and nuclear arsenal since World War II. The country's defense budget has grown by 16% over the past few years, now standing at $226 billion. The admiral also notes during its exercises, the Chinese army rehearsed the encirclement and blockade of the island. According to Aquilino, the combination of these factors suggests that China is preparing for a confrontation with Taiwan in 2027. Reported by Halina Babenko, Andriy Dmitrenko, UATV News.